Mining Clips. I'm Mike Nieheiser, founder of Beacon Rock Research, and with me is Tim Termuende, President and CEO of Omineca Mining and Metals. That's OMM on the Toronto Venture Exchange. Tim, thanks for joining me.
Mike, thanks for joining me and stopping by again for an update.
Now this is an update, so for prior interviews you can go to the website and see those. But Omineca, why don't you tell me a little bit about that name, because I'm having a little tough time remembering it and remember what the company's all about.
Okay, Omineca actually is a relatively new company on the scene here. We started in May of 2011, and Omineca was the resultant company from a takeover between Nova Gold Resources and Copper Canyon, which is one of our spin-out companies with Eagle Plains. So Omineca is, if you will, the grandchild of Eagle Plains Resources. When we started the company, Nova Gold seeded the company with $2.5 million for us to basically go out and identify a project that we would like to sort of sink our teeth into. We had a couple other projects in Omineca, the Abo project and the Kiwi project that were not core projects. We've since optioned those off to other companies. We did a small drill program on the Sully project earlier this year. We drilled one hole into that and decided to give that project back to the partner company. And so since then we've been focused on finding a major acquisition, and we've just done that. We've just announced in October that we have found a major acquisition, and we're working towards closing that deal right now.
Well, I'm very excited about this. So why don't you tell us about this? Is a project a bit different than the usual large hard rock or high-grade veins. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very different.
And what's the name of it?
The project is called the Wing Dam Project, and it's owned 100% by a private company called CVG Mining, which stands for Caribou Visible Gold. CVG basically was put together in 2009 to go after this opportunity on the Wing Dam Project. It's located in central British Columbia in the Caribou Goldfields, just east of Quesnel, BC, about 35 kilometers from Quesnel. And long story short, it's a very rich placer channel in the Lightning Creek that is at such a depth that over the years conventional placer mining hasn't been able to be successful there. The placer channel is down about 155, 160 feet down, and with the pressure of the water and the unconsolidated gravels, a number of companies tried to get down that deep and tunnel across or along the placer gold pay channel, and in the past hasn't been successful in getting any significant gold out of there due to cave-ins, floods, like problems, you name it, that come with working at those kind of depths and those kind of mining conditions. So CVG came along in 2009 with freeze mining expertise. They're a group of Saskatchewan financial and mining expertise, and they looked at this project and looked at it, with the view of what's it going to take to crack this nut, and they came up with the concept of actually freezing the channel at depth, going down through the hard rock, tunneling through the hard rock, and then coming across at depth into the placer channel. So they drilled a bunch of holes across the placer channel, injected a salt brine solution, supercooled it, and froze the unconsolidated material along the channel. And then once it was frozen, it acts just like a normal, any hard rock, and they mined across the channel to collect a bulk sample. They collected 140 bank yards of placer material, and from that they received 173 ounces of gold, which converts to, on a hard rock scale, between 13 and 20 grams per ton gold in the channel over a total distance of about 75 feet. So they've shown that the gold is there. They've proven that the gold is there, and they've shown that the grades are quite possibly economic. And that's where we come in now, is to get involved with the project, bring some expertise and some financial assistance to it, and we'll have to raise more money, of course, to go forward. But it looks like a viable project, and we're basically going to give it a shot.
Well, gold is really exciting. I mean, there's nothing quite like seeing nuggets, and these are actually ancient riverbeds that have been buried, and you're actually going into those ancient beds and mining the placer gold there.
Absolutely. Lightning Creek was one of the richest gold-bearing creeks in the Caribou district. A lot of Lightning Creek that was near surface pay channels was mined 100 years ago, 120 years ago. This particular area that we're focused on is 2 or 3 kilometers of paleo channel. Essentially, it's a deep canyon that is full of gravel from top to bottom, And conventional mining just doesn't work. You can't scrape from the surface and get down that deep in that narrow valley. So the only way to go at it is to shaft and tunnel. Again, until the freeze mining was tried, that just wasn't successful. A few different companies had tried and failed over the years, over the last 120 years. The CVG project that they completed in early 2012 was actually the first time a company had successfully crossed that channel at depth since 1880, when the first companies went in there. Sorry, 1898 roughly. But their success was short-lived. The thing flooded soon after that, collapsed and flooded in 1898. So basically, the freezing, we believe, is the key to unlocking the gold down there.
So your bulk samples, that's as good as drilling. How these paleo channels you're talking about, how large are those? How expansive a land position are you planning on going after?
Yeah, I'd have to say that the tunneling bulk sample is far more effective and indicative than a drill hole. I mean, a drill hole is a narrow diameter sample. This tunnel was 2.5 meters wide by 2.5 meters high by 23 meters long, so it was a large sample that yielded a lot of gold. Spectacular grades, really, for a placer operation.
So what should investors be looking for in the near future, 6-12 months for news flow?
Again, the deal we've done with CVG is a reverse takeover, an RTO, so we've got to get shareholder approval for that. We're in the process right now. We haven't had our AGM yet this year. We will require shareholder approval, so we expect to have our AGM likely March or April. Once we get shareholder approval and exchange approval, then it's a question of financing it. We don't have enough money to do a whole to go to production right now. We have enough money to do the permitting, to do the promotion, to do the money raising, and to hire the expertise to help us through this whole process.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that, and hopefully I get up there. Well, Tim, thank you very much for your time. Again, with me is Tim Termuende, President and CEO of Omineca Mining and Metals. That's OMM on the Toronto Venture Exchange. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Mike.